I liked him. I liked the treasurer. He's my friend. But he never showed up. He was the best argument for why there should be no treasurer. His absence.
Okay, let's
Hey,
go
we'll
on.
move on.
Let's move on, right? Now, I understand because you've mentioned about the your action committee, Bethel Action Committee. Tell the folks, our viewers, a little bit about it, what actually that means.
Bethel Action Committee is a registered political action committee that we file. I've been filing quarterly reports with the town clerk since 1985. I've never been fined. I've made all of my financial the statements, disclosures, never a problem. But we have no money. That's why probably there's no money in our account. But and we have participated in every municipal election. I would say if we fought 24 budgets, if we participated in 24 debates, we fought the budget 22 times. There's been a couple times when we have supported the budget. I regret it now, but we have supported the budget once in a great while. A lot of times in years of multiple referenda, we would fight the budget for the first 3, and then when the 4th one came back, we would say vote yes on this because sometimes things have a weird way. One year we had 6 referendums, and we were referenda. Wow. I keep the plural of referenda.
Wow.
We had 6 referenda, and we ended up worse. We were winning, but we ended up losing. It was in 1998 budget year. And so from that, I learned that there are certain times when you have to go back to your base and say, listen, we whittled down the budget a certain degree, and if we're not going to get any more out of this, this is as much as you're going to get. Or sometimes the tide turns, and then you may win 3 referenda, and then 4 and 5 go the other way, and you lose everything that you whittled. And of course, when you're talking town government, what do they take out? 1/10 of 1%. The budget fails, they take out 1/10 of 1%, and then you have to vote on that, and you got to knock that down. So, but the Bethel Action Committee, I have been putting up vote no signs in my town. The amount of miles I put on my truck going throughout town since 1986. Sometimes 4 referendum, 5. So that's what we do. We fight. And then there are capital improvements that we fought. Swimming pools. We defeated 2 swimming pools. A 3rd one is on the way. We'll be fighting them on that. We defeated a golf course, a municipal golf course. And I'm trying to think of a few. And the biggest thing that we did was we were the organization that spearheaded the automatic referendum on a proposed budget. In the 1980s, there was only 2 towns, Weston and Granby, that had a automatic popular vote on proposed tax increases. And Fred Stant in Brookfield, John Cook in New Fairfield, and myself in Bethel, we put this little group together, and one by one we started moving debates on charter revisions. That was what we would predominantly do. We'd go throughout the state discussing charter revisions to taxpayer groups and showing them how they could achieve an automatic referendum. When I say automatic, there was permissive referendums. So if you came up with a certain amount of signatures, the budget would go to a referendum. Or if a budget passed, at a town meeting, you had another, sometimes it would take 5%, 10% of the voters, but you could bring that town meeting approved budget to a machine vote. We didn't want the citizens to have a petition process. We said a tax increase deserves the widest participation afforded by the machine vote instead of the town meeting, which is inhabited by the various constituencies that have the most to gain, while the people with the most to lose are in their houses watching TV. So that was the Bethel Action Committee's greatest victory. Was in the 1989, we had a charter revision commission that was spent 3 years, 2 years, whatever. It passed nearly by a almost 5-to-1 margin. People supported the automatic referendum. So that's why we're trying to get this. This is the only second time that we've had an initiative, so to speak. And I hope that this all or none public alert ordinance gets the same amount of support because of the rightness of the argument. And some people will say, well, if it's Billy and Bethel Action Committee, it's got to be anti-education, it's got to be anti-government. Couldn't be further from the fact. This is about fairness. The fair people want a fair playing field, and this, or the way it is now, is so unfair. When you have one group of voters getting information, multiple reminders to vote, to the exclusion of the balance. But I jumped ahead.
No, that's okay. Let me interrupt because you are stealing my question.
Yeah, I'm jumping ahead.
And my question, explain the specific thing that you're talking about, because you do have this online petition. Can you explain that for viewers? Unfortunately, the show doesn't go to Bethel, but it does go to surrounding towns, and we do put this up on YouTube and can make copies and everything available for people that might want to see it in Bethel. But if you could talk to, what the petition is, why you're doing it, what you hope to accomplish.
It gets, this is a left-handed compliment, but this is, total credit goes to our superintendent. Superintendent Gary Chesley, he's retired now, he's going to be leaving soon. But he had 12 years of an incredible career as a Bethel superintendent, and probably the most politically astute superintendent. What an opponent for a taxpayer group to have. He knows the system, and he's brilliant, and he's articulate, and he knows the letter of the law. And we challenged him multiple times in the 12 years about his use of sending out mailers that would say, we're voting to approve the budget, or we're voting for the budget, which is language that is prohibited. When you have a pending referendum, a town or a municipality can't finance a message that is that advocates either way, for or against. And he was masterful at knowing how to thread the needle, and just like the one little preposition, instead of saying vote, we're voting on the budget, we're voting for the budget. And that was a violation, and the Elections Enforcement Commission ruled that he was in violation last October. He sent out these emails to the parents of school-age children that said, I don't have the language exactly, but it was language that violated the state statute. And our Board of Education did nothing. Our Board of Education allowed the superintendent to do this, and it was a violation of their own policy that the superintendent could do this. It was not vetted through the board. It's not a message to the parents of school-age children from the Board of Ed. It's from the superintendent, and he could access this system from his house. So it's not even the superintendent in the school doing this. He's in his house. What power? That's a tremendous thing. Imagine if a citizen had that kind of access in public, to use public money to contact constituents groups. Anyway, this has been going. We've had a battle with our superintendent over his political activism for 12 years. We finally said, okay, we're going to make an ordinance. So in Bethel, if you have a pending referendum on town expenditures, no agency of the town, whether it's the Park and Rec, whether it's the library, whether it's the Board of Ed, it doesn't matter. No agency of the town can use the town-owned machinery, the universe, whatever the words they use now, universal platform, whatever it is,
right,
to cherry pick one group of voters that are contacted to the exclusion of the balance of the voters who are paying for that system.
To get the information.
It's so inherently unfair. And whether you support the school budget or not, you cannot have government creating a special class. They have a special class of voters. In your house, you get this reminder: we're voting for the budget today. And that's what happened. So a lot of people don't have computers. A lot of people in my age group my age group, I've turned 60. But a lot of people that I know that are older than me don't have computers.
Right.
So they don't get these little friendly reminders. So if a town agency wants to remind their constituency, if this ordinance passes, the selectmen have to make sure that everybody gets it through first-class mail. Now, I would prefer that no one gets it. They don't need to be reminding people. The newspapers, you have the sign in the public square. There's press releases that are designed to reach everybody. And then you have political action committees like the Bethel Action Committee. Years ago, there were PACs, women predominantly, sat around kitchen tables like this and said, we've got to defend this budget. And they would form groups called Your Efforts Succeed, Forward, Be Fair, and they would use their money, their energy. They put signs up. Nowadays, you don't have to do that because the superintendent is using the taxpayers' money to be the PAC. The school turned into the political organ of propaganda. Anyway,
Well,
I'm sorry I talked so much.
No, that's quite an interesting
sorry.
subject. No problem. I want to just one quick question. If there was if there's anything else, one additional thing you had to add, or if you've spoken your piece.
Well, I would tell the people in these area towns, especially people that are concerned about the federal spending, if you can't control the spending in your village, you're fooling yourself if you think you're going to impact the Fed or in the state of Hartford, you're going to go to Hartford. You have got to control spending, and it takes an incredible sacrifice by about 5 to 10 citizens. That's what it takes. You got to get 5 or 6 or 10 people that are committed to changing. They always say, think globally, act locally. Well, if you want to think nationally, you act locally first. Because if you can't freeze property taxes on a local level, there's no way you're going to freeze gas taxes and state income taxes and sales taxes.
Okay. So thank you, Billy. We're going to wrap up the show right now.
You got another 3.
Okay, we actually have a little more time than I thought, so I'm sorry about that. But I think we've really discussed all that we need, and we've had a great discussion, a great guest, and a lively conversation. So we are going to wrap up our show right now. Again, I'd like to thank our guest, Billy Michael, founder of the Bethel Action Committee, and of course, the J&B Band. I also want to remind our viewers of our air dates on Charter Channel 21, and that they are on Monday at 4:30 and Thursday at 7. We also post segments from our shows on YouTube, and you can find them at www.youtube.com/Brookfield Public Advo. And you may contact us if you have questions, comments, guests you'd like to see, topics at brookfieldpublicadvocate@yahoo.com. Again, we'd love to hear from you, and again, thank you for watching, and good night. Okay.
Yikes, do I blab?
Still may be on, I'm not sure.